So in this video, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about this random pen lot I purchased recently. If you haven't seen my previous videos on this, you'll know a pen lot is when someone gets a bunch of pens or pencils or really anything. They put it on some sort of sales platform, eBay, Etsy, what have you. And they don't say what the pens are. There's no guarantees. They say, here's a jumble of stuff. Buy it or don't buy it. But there's no returns, I don't have any details about the specific pens. Just if you see what it is, I haven't identified it, I don't know much about it, buy it. So I buy them from time to time, and here's the latest one. This is one of the more expensive ones I've purchased because there was some bidding against me, which doesn't happen too often. Usually, the pool of people fighting for these is pretty small unless it's like a themed set, like a Parker fountain pen, random pen lot, or something like that. Anyway, here's the bunch, and I'll I'll cut to the chase. This one is really something special. I'm not sure if the owner knew what it is, or maybe just didn't care. I don't know, but I was really excited to pick this one up, and that's the reason I bought it. So we'll get to that one in a minute, and we'll go through the rest pretty quick. And the lot cost, I forget the exact price, but it cost maybe $60, right around there. So definitely not cheap. Might have been a little bit more after taxes and all that. So anyway, we'll jump right into it. Some random Parker Quink fountain pen cartridges, 5 in black. Not bad. It's unopened, and these things last forever. So that's easily a $5 value. And I actually use some Parker pens. Mostly the vintage ones, so that's cool. They included a bunch of random old cartridges. Some of them have no name. This is not a very helpful inclusion. I know like people don't want to waste stuff, but if you're doing a random pen lot, old unnamed cartridges are really just not a very helpful addition. Like this one's no good. This one's clearly shot. I'm not even sure why they would bother paying the shipping on this old Pilot G2 cartridge, but this was in there. It's interestingly, it's a needlepoint, so it's not actually a Pilot G2. It's G2, a Pilot gel size cartridge. But again, let's see if we can even zoom in on this thing. I don't know why this was included. This like little shorty G2 refill. It doesn't fit. It fits one of the pens. I forget which one. But that was here. Okay, a Waterman rollerball refill. It's actually somewhat useful. And see if it writes. Yeah, so that one writes. Pretty cool. And then, what's that? Another Waterman. This one was no cap. And then old Parker. Not T-ball old, but definitely old Parker cartridge there. So, yeah, more refills, another Parker. This is just a Hauser. So this is kind of like a no-name. I mean, I've heard of Hauser refills before, but, not very high quality, especially at this age. This was actually a insert you put into a Parker-style pen that makes it into a pencil. So these are pretty cool. These things are worth $6-7, and I use them from time to time. Another refill. This looks like this is a Hawk. I've never even heard of that before. And then I thought this was a refill when I was first going through the pens, but it's not. I think this is either one of those tiny zebras or a Pilot Birdie, something like that. I'm pretty sure it's one of those small zebras. It's not going to open. I'm going to need some pliers or something to get that. But cool little pocket pen. Okay, so now we're getting into the real pens. There was this one. This is a Pilot Metropolitan rollerball. So a nice little rollerball. It's worth, I think these sell for maybe $8 new, something like that. This one has some miles on it, but it's in okay shape. It's a little bit messed up over here. See if we could pick that up on the camera. You know, it's a little, got some junk on it, but yeah, not a bad pickup. I definitely don't need it, but I don't have a Pilot Metropolitan rollerball, so that's interesting. I only have this pen in fountain pen. This, I think a lot of people will easily identify. This is a Fisher bullet pen, or Fisher Space Pen bullet pen. It was engraved. That's why I have the masking tape there for now. The person that sold it didn't mention anything was engraved, which is kind of a bummer because you get them and then, it's just kind of annoying having someone else's name on it. But again, not a big deal. And I buy a bunch of old engraved stuff. It really reduces the value when you do it. The resale value is, you're looking at like easily 25 to 35% haircut on pens, even really nice pens if they're engraved. So working, good shape, Fisher bullet pen. It's actually a good pickup. I need some more pens to kind of throw in the car and the bag and stuff like that. Kind of just an old no-name pen with the rubber broken down. That's just kind of really grosses me out. So no value there. And this is an old cross. I'm blanking on the name, but you pull it out and it pops open. I looked at one of these recently. It was a gel pen. I forget who made it, but it's one of those Cross partner companies. Before, in earlier days, Cross was the one that made it. And now it's, again, not Rotring, but it was something else from that set of companies. So cool little pocket pen. This one also was engraved, which I was surprised by since it's only like, at least now it's maybe $8 or $9 pen. Maybe it was more back in the day. So there's two of these. This one actually has the cap, which is nice. This is that weird cap I complained about on the video. It's actually really hard. It's like impossible to get off, just like this. But once it's on a keychain, it's not that bad. So this is a Tombow Zoom 505 in this kind of violet color, purple, violet, what have you. The clip is sprung, which is super annoying. I could maybe take the cap apart and see if I can get at it, but I'm not sure if I can. So it's really just, it's too bad. The pen itself does not have a refill, but I have a few extra refills for this one. So that's pretty cool. And, it's an okay shape overall. This is new. This is like a $20 pen, say. So I'm starting to feel pretty okay about this pen lot between those Cross pens. Something like this, like I'm probably not gonna get a lot of use of because I don't have any replacement refills for this. And let's see if it doesn't work right. Yeah, it doesn't work, and the refill is probably, I think these refills are like $6-7 each. They're not that cheap, and they're this weird proprietary refill, like this short little thing. So I don't know. I may like make my own pen lot out of these instead of having to buy a bunch of these refills. Who knows? But they do have value. They just don't add a lot of value to this set for me. This is I'm blanking on this. This is a Waterman, I want to say a hemisphere, something like that. It has this split clip. So this is definitely a nicer rollerball. I was excited about this one, but as soon as I got it, I saw that the little retaining clip, the thing that holds the cap on, was actually broken, and which was like one of those things where people don't mention in, so that's the retaining clip. It snaps right in half. So clearly it had been like jammed together when the person put it in the box. And then I got this busted pen, which is kind of annoying. This is a nicer rollerball, at least it worth like, $15 or something. It was in good shape. But it's useless now. The cap will not stay on. So, yeah, too bad on this broken Waterman Hemisphere Graduate. I think it is called the Waterman Hemisphere. It's got this like clip. It's a lot like the Karen. It may actually be a Karen. I'm blanking on that, but it doesn't matter because without that clip, it does not really have any value. This was some sort of no-name, I think no-name pen. It's broken, but the person said, hey, I'm throwing you a broken pen for free when I made the acquisition. So it was nice of them to include it. I guess it's a silver pen. It's starting to tarnish, which you could tell, which is interesting. But it's broken and has no value to me. So I think they were thinking I would be buying this pen lot if I had the interest in fixing and the capability to fix pens. So maybe I could fix this one, which is it's a good attitude. I could appreciate that. This was an ADP tax credit services advertising pen, so not really much value here. And I guess this is what the mini refill was for. Anyway, let's cut to the chase with this. This is a Luis Gonzalez designed Tombow España with the case, which is pretty interesting. So this is the Tombow España. It's part of the Tombow design collection. It's a pretty interesting pen. It kind of, I don't know if people remember this. A few months ago, I looked at this Tombow pen that looked like a fish. That's part of their design collection. This is part of the design collection. And this is specifically it's called the Zoom España. It's a cool little ballpoint. It's actually not that little. It has an interesting, rounded, kind of organic shape. This very, very cool clip. You could see it's rounded. It actually looks kind of like a fishing hook. You can see it's even tapered over here. It's like, it's really hard to pick up on the camera, but it is wider and skinnier and wider again there. Clicks. It uses a tiny little D1 refill, which the pen doesn't come apart. So to get the refill out, you actually just press it and hold it, and you pull the refill. And that's how it is. You can't take this thing apart. And then it's a little bit fidgety getting it back in there. But that is the Tombow Zoom España. This was also sold as a mechanical pencil, and that's really desirable. That might fetch over, $150, something like that. The Zoom España in the ballpoint is pretty hard to find. And so hard enough to find that it's hard to say what a good value for this is. If you could find the right buyer, it's worth a lot. And for me, I basically bought this whole set just to get this pen, because I've always wanted to play with one. Now that I've played with it, I'm actually falling out of love with it. I always thought the body was metal, and in videos, there's no videos of this honestly, but in pictures it looks metal. And knowing that this thing has a resale value of on the secondary market of over $150, generally speaking, sometimes way more than that, you'd think it was metal, but the body itself is actually just a plastic, and the clip is metal, but it is a plastic pen. That's maybe one of the reasons why they're not so common. Maybe they've been damaged or scuffed up enough over the years that people are just not selling them. I'm sure there was never that many of them made. Anyway, when I do a big Tombow video, this will probably be in it. But that's the Tombow Zoom España, which is very cool. So that is one of the weirdest pen lots I've ever got. Just kind of all over the place, some random refills, and then it's random, extremely rare Tombow pen. Interesting pickup. Bit of a gamble for me, but I think it panned out pretty okay on the whole. On average it did, but in individual items, a lot of duds here, and then some disappointments, particularly the busted Waterman, which is something, it's a nice roller ball. I would definitely get some use out of this. So the fact that it's no good is too bad. But anyway, random pen lot, a lot of fun, and always interested in giving this a shot. So thanks for watching.